Hey everyone, in today's video I wanted to go over the squat and how you go about improving in it. A lot of times when people first start a squat program, they don't typically have the mobility in their body to be able to hit depth at a consistent rate. So you really want to focus on improving your ankle mobility, hamstring mobility, your hip flexors, your adductors, and your upper back. One way you can loosen up your upper back is to use a PVC pipe and do around the world, or shoulder dislocators is what I like to call them. You can also practice getting into the overhead squat position with a PVC pipe. And you can also sit in like a squat rack where you grab one of the beams and you squat all the way ass to grass, pushing your knees out with your elbows and sitting as upright as possible. Those are two little quick tips that can help you improve those areas. In regards to programming the squat, what I would do is do 2 days a week, 1 day for volume, and then 1 day for strength. On the volume day, do 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, between 60-70% of your 1 rep max. And on day 2, 3 to 4 sets at first of 5 reps, between 75-80% of your 1 rep max. And then test your 1 rep max every, let's say, 6 weeks. But make sure every set, every rep, when you're in your working sets, looks the same. You don't want to be grinding through the weights with this. I made this mistake early on, going way too heavy on my sets of 8, and it burned me out, and I wasn't feeling strong on the days I needed to be strong. So again, hope these tips helped you, and I'll be making more stuff like this down the road. But again, give me a like and subscribe and leave a comment. Hey everyone, in today's video I wanted to go over the deadlift and how you go about programming for it to get stronger. In regards to the programming, the way I would start it is by squatting twice a week at least to build up your leg strength, and deadlift once a week. I usually do block training when it comes to deadlifting, so I would have a base building period where I would do about 3 to 4 weeks of doing sets of 8 between 60 and 70% of my 1 rep max. The percentage really depends on the lifter and what your body can tolerate. I would follow that with a deload week in a sense, where I would typically do normal back accessory movements, but throw in maybe deficit deadlifts, or just skip deadlifts altogether and just rest. Next, I would follow that up with sets of 5. I would usually do 3 by 5, anywhere between around 80% of my 1 rep max. And then after that, I would kind of build based on each week, add 5, 10 or more pounds, just based on how everything's moving. Once those 3 or 4 weeks are completed, I would also do another deload, do the same thing as the previous one. Then I would move on to, let's say, triples at around 85% of my 1 rep max, doing roughly between 3, 4, or 5 sets. I typically say start with 3 and then just see how you're feeling. Usually I don't recommend like AMRAP sets yet unless you're more of an experienced lifter. But really this is just the basics I want to give you guys, just so you have a base of how I go about building when it comes to my deadlift. Some additional tips before I go, make sure you don't use straps. I feel like people rush to straps too soon and they lose out on building their grip strength. Make sure you pause at the top when it's your final rep. It just allows you to get your body used to holding that weight in your hands and control the eccentric movement on the way down. Also, try to avoid the tap and go method. I did that when I was younger, as you can see, but I like doing the traditional where you pause at the bottom.